If you get the software and the battery, then why should we buy a new article? It lasts forever, except for the battery, and if you don't throw it down. And therefore, even for these articles, which are quite expensive and used a lot also, and have a big carbon footprint because you have a lot of materials and so on, it would be a good idea to have them even longer lasting. And you don't have an advantage if you buy your camera gets a little bit better. Also a thing for the toy business to think about, because normally children are not that let's say they are hard on the toys, and it should be that if it breaks, you need to buy a new one. Maybe it's good for the toy manufacturer, but normally it should be not. And it's better if it is used. It can be used longer. Also, a part of the circular economy to extend the use.
Okay. Welcome back to our podcast with me, Helen, Dr. Timo, and Shan. And today we're going to talk about circular economy and zero waste living. Dr. Timo, how does the circular economy different from traditional recycling?
So recycling is a part of the circular economy. So the circular economy is a more holistic approach to the whole business, because you need to recycle a lot. But that's one part. You can also say, okay, one part, extra part, and should be the biggest part, is the reuse of the items. And of course, the items should be made like this, that can be reused or recycled. At the moment, it's not the case for most of the, for example, packaging and so on. So this is the recycling is just a part.
I was in product design. We have never thought of one thing, the end of life of the product, I think. Also part of the circular economy. Do you think it is?
Yes. It's important to see the whole life of the product. It's not just the use, but also the end use, which probably is most of the time is that it goes to waste and then could be recycled. And then we need probably, for example, just one material to, which is often possible, but most of the time product designers don't think about it. They use the best material for every part, and then you have mixed materials, and then you cannot recycle it, and you just can burn or fill it somewhere. And this needs to be inside of the product, but there also needs to be, the product designer needs to think about it, and there needs to be some money gains out of it, or some gains out of it, because normally if it's easiest to just not think about it, and that should not be the case.
Right. Because I was in toys, most, like 90% is plastic, but actually it's not recyclable because we mixed ABS, PP, and we have some metals. In the recycling business or the industry, no one will separate it for us. So it needs to be, right, it is expensive. It's not worth. Now it's getting better and better. More people will think of it.
Yeah, I also think so, because most also the metal parts is nothing that, and also other things that are in there could be a problem, even if it's cardboard or something, which could pose problems for the recycling. It's probably best to have one material for everything, and we have to. And I have to say, I'm in the plastics business also. I know that there are possibilities, for example, for PP to do different jobs. You have different types of it, and you can have them more stable, less stable, more, and you can just use one material for most of the usages, and that's just need to think about it to do it. And I think in the past it was easy. Okay, this kind of part we always do in PET or in ABS or something. That's it's an important thing that every aspect of the product has to be taken in mind, and. Also, the best thing would, of course, be to not use too much black, for example. And if you use black, to use sortable black and so on. So there are a lot of aspects for recycling. But then also, the important point is that it doesn't break too fast. Also a thing for the toy business to think about, because normally children are not that... let's say they are hard on the toys, and it should be that if it breaks, you need to buy a new one. maybe it's good for the toy manufacturer, but normally it should be not. And it's better if it can be used longer. Also a part of the circular economy to extend the use, because if you just buy one part and not two parts, it's even if it's more expensive, which is good for the manufacturer, it's better for everybody because you don't have that much waste.
That will be difficult for toy industry.
It's difficult for every industry because in the past there were a lot of ideas to make the products short-lasting, of course, because you want to sell more products. Think about the light bulb, for example. There was even a big thing that they shouldn't last as long as they could, because they want to sell more of these light bulbs. And now we have LED technique, and they last essentially forever. But the companies which were in the light business changed a lot, let's say. And I think it's with cars or with electronics, it's often the case also. If you have a computer, it's essentially, if there's no break point, it normally doesn't break down at all. That's also good, but for the manufacturer who wants to sell more products, it's more difficult. But on the other hand, I can say there are manufacturers who say, put on the products, for example, for washing machines, this washing machine will last for 20 years. And they sell a lot because of this promise, and it works also. At the end, it's a lot better for the environment, and it's even cheaper to use this one, even if it costs the double amount of money. And that's the important point, that it really lasts for 20 years, but they even give some promise that you get repair parts and something. So I think to change the mind also of the manufacturer to sell something more expensive, but longer lasting. It just needs to, as a consumer, we just need to know that it lasts longer. I think then it will be bought also. Because I know this German manufacturer, sells a lot of washing machines, even though they last for 20 years, which are really good. And I think for more products it's possible. It's also probably possible for cars or for other things, but there needs to be some mind change. That is not important to. So, let's go back to the washing machine. The washing machine today, for 20 years ago, will not wash better than the washing machine today. It's the same, essentially. There's no advancement. I also think now in cars, it's a little bit different. But for some other stuff, it's for computers nowadays, I think I'm normally a computer, but for the standard PC or laptop or something, if it is 10 years old, it is no really a difference, I think, for standard programs, not for games or something, but for standard programs. So why should it break down? There's no advantage for the user if you get a newer one. Of course, some of the industry is reliant on growth, and then it's difficult to have long-lasting products.
That's true. Cell phone, same. I think it's iPhone 12 and iPhone 13. Yeah. It's pretty much the same. Yeah,
you're right. That's cell phones. It's more easy to see. Also, iPads or something. That's really where's the difference? If you get the software and the battery, if you can change the battery, it's even better. But if you get the software and the battery, then why should we buy a new article? It lasts forever, except for the battery, and if you don't throw it down. And therefore, even for these articles, which are quite expensive and used a lot also, and have a big carbon footprint because you have a lot of materials and so on, it would be a good idea to have them even longer lasting. And you don't have an advantage if you buy your camera gets a little bit better. So where's the problem? The advantage, yeah.
The old camera lasts for 100 years.
If you can use the product very long, it's a good circularity also because it doesn't need to be circular. It's used a lot. Yeah. If you can recycle it very good, of course, there's also a good metric. So if you have one material, not different materials, which is quite difficult for a phone, let's say. But let's say for toys, to have one material is of course a good metric, I think.
Also difficult. But
yeah,
possible.
We all need to do something.